What's up, Bears fans? Coming up on today's show, we got a Chicago Bears rumors mailbag. We're going to take all your questions, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. But I do want to kick off today's show with this idea. How about signing veteran tight end Marcedes Lewis, a player we have not talked about, but I think a player that's at least worth exploring, right? Because longtime tight end, I still think you could use a third tight end, and he's played in this division and system for a while. He's one of the best remaining tight ends on the open market, and one of the better blocking tight ends in the NFL. If you look at his Pro Football Focus grades from last year, overall graded out as 65.6, receiving 51.9, but you wouldn't really be signing him as a receiving threat. 72.9 as a pass blocker, 66.6 as a run blocker. And when you look at this tight end depth chart, who's your third tight end? Chase Allen? Jake Tonges? I think you could use just a pure blocking tight end because Cole Kmet, he's a good blocking tight end and receiving tight end. That's why he's your number one tight end. Robert Tonyan's a good receiving tight end, okay blocker, but he's more of a receiving threat. Marcedes Lewis, more of a blocking tight end, former teammate of Robert Tonyan, by the way, up in Green Bay. I think some stars could align here, and if Aaron Rodgers doesn't bring him to the Jets, which hasn't happened at this point, maybe the Bears could make some sense. Now, some reasons to sign Marcedes Lewis despite him being 38 years old. Number one, he knows this system. Green Bay ran a really similar offense. Obviously, he played under Luke Getsy in Green Bay as well, so that would be a smooth transition. The Bears need a blocking tight end, like I mentioned. You think of Trayvon Wesco last year, served an okay role as a blocker purely. And then he provides veteran leadership, experience for a very young roster and a pretty young tight end room as well. I like this idea. Vet minimum, third tight end to come in and block. I think that is interesting. Now, should the Bears sign Marcedes Lewis? What say you? Maybe you think this is the dumbest idea that's ever existed. Type S for sign or P for pass. Let me know in the comments section below. Daily basis, which of the running backs will be the best pass catcher? I think it's Roschon Johnson, even though he's just a rookie. Khalil Herbert, I thought, got marginally better in that area last year, but he still needs to improve in that regard. He's the best runner in this system, I think, but as a pass catcher, I'll go Roschon. Deontay Foreman doesn't have a track record of being much of a pass catcher, so I do think it's Rojo. Travis Homer's actually a pretty good pass-catching back, but I don't know how much he's actually going to play. J-Dubs, I'm going week 1 in Chicago. What should I expect? Good weather, hopefully, in Chicago. Hopefully it's not a torrential downpour like last year. And a big dub over the Packers. Get the FGBs rolling in the comments. Shout out to Corey for a $5 super chat. He says, cheers, can't wait to watch the Vikes tank this year. What do you think? Look, the Vikings are going to regress. They're not winning 13 games, but they could still win the division. I think Detroit, Chicago, and Minnesota could all win it, maybe even Green Bay. I don't think they will with Jordan Love, but you never know. I think the Vikes fall back to earth, though, 7-10 wins, somewhere in that range. Blaze Cap with the $5 super chat. Do you think Luke Getsy gets a head coaching job next season? And if so, is there a clear-cut replacement that fits the scheme? Bear down, FGB. Well, Blaze, we're taking a shot for me, or for you right now, and I'm the one taking it. So cheers to you. As far as Luke Getsy goes, if this offense takes a huge step, and if Justin Fields specifically takes a big leap forward, especially as a passer, I definitely think it's possible that he could go. And if he does, I wonder if Andrew Janocko, the quarterback's coach, could just make a natural jump, right? Go from QB coach to offensive coordinator, then you replace Janocko. I think that could happen, but that's down the road. We'll have to wait and see. Vibing with the dog. Any surprise cuts during the offseason? If you mean for the Bears, I'll throw one at you. How about Lucas Patrick? It sounds like Cody Whitehair is going to start. Doesn't sound like they're going to cut him to save money. What if Doug Kramer is an adequate backup? Then I think Lucas Patrick could get cut. Other guys, a surprise cut, Velus Jones. I don't think it'll happen, but I think it's possible. If Tyler Scott's clearly better as a rookie, then Velus Jones is what, wide receiver 5 or 6? That's right on the roster bubble, so he's someone who could get cut potentially as well. Subscribe to the channel. Did you miss today's mailbag live? If you're watching live right now, no, you did not. But if you did, subscribe and turn on your notifications because we go live on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time. That's when we answer all of your questions. Lovey Smith, Great win in Week 18 last year, Coach. If Alan Williams doesn't get this defense to take a step forward and get some production, how about they fire him, hire me, and I'll turn the ship around. They owe me one. The Bears do owe you, Coach. Listen, if they put a statue up of Lovie Smith outside Soldier Field, I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Definitely the best coach of this century of the Bears up to this point, and helped the Bears out tremendously in Week 18 to get them to the number 1 pick, which led to DJ Moore, Darnell Wright, all this other stuff. Yeah, look, I think Alan Williams has something to prove. I give him a bit of a pass for last year because look at what he was working with. And by the way, what he was working with got hurt a lot too. Like the limited pieces he had got injured. Jalen Johnson missed time. Eddie Jackson missed the final 5 or 6 games. So, you know, I think he's got a lot more to work with this year with the additions at linebacker, a little bit better secondary. Hopefully the defensive line comes together. So, yeah, it needs to be better. And if it's not, that's a problem. The Gabe Dream wide receiver room. I mean, are you basing that off what the Bears have, or if I could just pick any receiver in the NFL? Like, if I could just build a receiving core, I would have Justin Jefferson play in the slot, Jamar Chase play one of my outside spots, and Devontae Adams play the other outside spot. And then I would have Tyreek Hill just be my speed demon. But based on the Bears, you know, if everything comes together, DJ Moore's your X, Mooney's your slot, and Claypool's your other outside guy with – you know, hopefully Velus Jones takes a step. Him and Tyler Scott are kind of your home run hitters. That would be the dream. We'll see. Armin Peters, what's going to be our hardest opponent this year? It's got to be the Chiefs on the road, right? I mean, that's pretty brutal. I mean, you go to Arrowhead in Week 3, that's going to be a challenge. At the Chargers will be tough. All road divisional games are always tough. You know, but all in all, this schedule isn't too crazy tough. Buffalo at home is going to be a challenge, but you know, this schedule isn't crazy. Like there's a lot of winnable games out there for Chicago. Sean Ginter, if we can't sign another pass rusher, what do you think about throwing Noah Sewell in there to get him a shot since we got linebackers filled? Yeah, look, I think Sewell on occasion could line up at edge and rush the passer. I think he's a better blitzing linebacker than he is an edge rusher, but yeah, I think he could rotate in there. Do I think that would be something the Bears employ a lot for him his rookie year? No. Could it happen, you know, between 1 and 5 times per game? Perhaps. I think there's certain packages where you could work that in, but I would be surprised if that was a frequent thing for this Bears defense and for Noah Sewell. Stephen Anthony, Bubble Tony, is it worth kicking the tires on Adrian Amos? Could be a valuable third safety. It's interesting. Now, teams usually want their backups to play special teams. Is 30 years old Adrian Amos going to play special teams for you? I tend to think probably not. He struggled last year for the Packers, but long time or played a few years for the Bears, obviously. Played well here, has had success in this league. I wouldn't be against it. You don't have a true safety 3 right now. You know, you've got Kendall Williamson, who you drafted, and, of course, the guy you drafted last year from Cal, who I'm completely drawing a blank on as well. But, you know, you haven't brought back DeAndre Houston Carson, so Adrian Amos could be interesting. I certainly would not be opposed to that. Should the Bears bring Adrian Amos back? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Elijah Hicks, thank you to the chat for that one. I just completely blanked on his name there. I'm open to bringing back Amos. Let me know what you guys think. Y for yes, or you can type in for no. Speaking of vibe, and I feel like we need O-line depth. How would it feel if we signed a guy like George Fant? I like the idea of signing George Fant, and I agree with you. Like, we keep talking about this offensive line like, oh, it looks like better, and it does. Like, I think this offensive line is better, but outside of your starters, your only backups that are, you know, have good experience are pretty much Lucas Patrick. I mean, Larry Borum's played a decent amount, but at what level? Like, he's not played that well. I think he could be a little better at guard as a backup. So, okay, Alex Leatherwood, you know, Tyree Carter, he's been getting some reps at OTAs. That's great, but he was inactive all of last year. I would feel better with 1 or 2 more veteran backups. George Fant is a swing tackle. I like that quite a bit. Lucas Perez, does Chase Claypool get around 50 catches, maybe 700 yards to have a great season? Look, if you're asking me today if I would take 50 for 700 from Claypool, I probably would, because you don't need him to be a number one and give you that production. DJ Moore's the guy you want getting over 1,000 yards. So if he gives you 50 for 700 and Mooney did something similar and DJ Moore goes for 1,000, that's 2,500 yards right there between those three guys. So I think we would all sign up for that, because you're probably going to find another 1,000 to 1,500 yards elsewhere with tight ends, running backs, depth receivers, etc. The Gabo, say the Panthers are bad and they land a top three pick, and the Bears get a top 20 pick, and the second pick we get a Marvin Harrison Jr. And the 2 pick we get, I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Are you saying trade up to the number 2 pick or draft Marvin Harrison with the 3rd pick? I'm not sure, but yeah, look, if Carolina's in the top 5, you got a chance to get Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be nice. Even if they're not, you're going to have 2 first-round picks next year, and that's going to give you flexibility. If you want to trade up, use those picks to move up, you can do that. If you want to just take 2 good players, you can do that as well. So I'm certainly excited about the Bears draft possibilities next season. Subscribe now if you love the Chicago Bears, and hopefully you do if you're watching this channel. We publish daily Bears content, the latest news, rumors. We answer your questions here on our Tuesday live show, so subscribe and join us for that by turning on your notifications so you always get notified.